Hello everybody, this is Rachna once again and welcome to Gerunds. So children, this is a part of your grammar and I request and I'm fully confident that all of you must be going through this video with your books. Okay? So let's get started children. So welcome students. What do you think are gerunds? Let's first of all go through the definition. According to the definition, a gerund is that form of the verb which ends in ing, that is like any verb with ing, okay, and has the force of nouns and a verb. Alright, so let's understand a little further about this. Well, let's go through this sentence. Reading is the favorite pastime. Reading is his favorite pastime. Here the word reading is formed from the verb read by adding ing to it. Okay? We can also see that it is here used as the subject of a verb, and hence there's the verb of a noun. It is therefore a verb noun and is called a gerund. We can also consider a few other examples, like playing cards is not allowed here. I like reading poetry. Or he is fond of hoarding money. You know the meaning of hoarding? Hoarding means collecting a lot of money. Okay? So, well, in the first sentence, you can see that the gerund, like a noun, is the subject of a verb, but like a verb, it also takes an object, thus clearly showing that it has also the force of a verb. Right? Similarly, in the second sentence, like a noun is the object of a verb, but like a verb, it also takes an object, thus clearly showing that it has also the force of a verb. Okay? And then again in sentence 3, the gerund, like a noun, is governed by a preposition, but like a verb, it also takes an object. Alright? So, children, this is why we can conclude that a gerund is that form of the verb which ends in ing and has the force of a noun and a verb. Alright? As both the gerund and the infinitive have the force of a noun and a verb, they have the same uses. Thus, in many sentences, either of them may be used without any special difference in meanings. Okay, which simply implies that you take any of the gerund in any of the sentences, right? What happens is that it ends in ing. The gerund will always end in ing and will always have the force of a noun and a verb. Okay, so let's take for example, I'll explain it further to you, but let's take for example a few other things, like you can see that it a compound gerund forms are formed by placing a past participle after the gerund of have and be. For example, I heard of his having gained a prize. Here have is converted into having. Okay? Similarly, the gerund of a transitive verb has certain forms, like in active the present would become loving, whereas in passive it would be converted into being loved. Okay? Or in a perfect tense, it would become, the perfect active would become having loved, or the passive would become having been loved. Okay, as both the gerund and the present participle end in ing, they must be carefully distinguished. Okay, so what happens? The gerund has the force of a noun and a verb, so it is a verbal noun. Okay, so you see, the telling the difference between a verb and a verbal is not done by just looking only at the word itself. Okay, you have to see how the word is being used. Right, children? So in both cases, what happens? The word looks like a verb, but if it's used as something other than a verb, it's a verbal. Alright? So the present participle has the force of an adjective and a verb. So it is a verbal adjective. Like, he is fond of playing cricket. The old man was tired of walking. Okay? Now children, understand that reading is used like an ordinary, when let's say for example, the indiscriminate reading of novels is injurious. Here reading is used like an ordinary noun. Okay, notice that the is used before and of after it. Let me repeat the sentence to you. The indiscriminate reading of novels is injurious. Okay, so we can take for example a few other sentences, like the making of the plan is in hand, or the time of the singing of the birds has come. Right? So you see what happens here? You find that they are verbals, and the most important thing is that they are verbal adjectives. Alright? So now we can try and understand the uses of a gerund. Okay, when we talk of uses of a gerund, it is a gerund being a verb noun may be used as subject of a verb. For example, seeing is believing, hunting deer is not allowed in this country. Or it can also be used as an object of a transitive verb, as stop playing. Alright? Or it can also be used as an object of a preposition, like I'm tired of waiting. Or it can also be used to complement a verb. Alright? So what happens, that we find that it's an absolute, like playing cards being his aversion, we did not play bridge. Right? So what do we understand? That we use the gerund after some verbs, like it could be a suggestion, it could be recommendation, like dislike, prefer, love, hate, enjoy, finish, miss, continue, right? So this is some places where you can understand how to use the gerund. Here children, I've given you certain things like verbs which are followed by gerund, and these are certain speaking cards. Okay, so what you can actually do is you can go through them and understand as to how you can use them, like what are the what you should be avoiding, and so on and so forth, right? So again, understand that a gerund will always be accompanied by an ing, though there are not all verbs which end in ing. Okay, so thank you so very much. Take care of yourself, and I hope that everybody will be actually going through gerunds properly. Alright? Thank you. Have a wonderful day ahead.